If you go into a relationship with the mindset of, I can fix them, you are a problem.
This is not Bob the Builder.
You are not meant to fix people. No. If they have problems, you're never going to be able to fix them until they register it is a problem.
And they want to actively fix them.
Because
even if they register it's a problem, they might not see it as a big enough problem to deal with.
Right.
Or they're like, well, it's been fine up till now. It'll continue to be fine.
We are not a rehab for broken people.
If they try to isolate you from your friends and your family,
if they can't find at least one or two of your friends to go, I like this person, they are a good influence on you.
Yeah. Hey, so-and-so is cool.
They don't have to meet the whole friend group.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you are meeting one of your partner's friends and that friend is kind of a dick by all standards, if that is a red flag, you can bring it up to your partner, but do not tell them, like, they can't interact.
Look, this person is your friend for a reason. I just am not comfortable with them and would not like to be around them anymore. If they're accusing you of things you haven't done, that says more about them than it does you.
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting. Oh my god, if you express a boundary and they see it as a personal attack, run for the hills.
Right? I cannot stand, even in my friendships, my coworkers, especially my intimate relationships, if I say, this is something that bothers me, I've seen that you have done this and I want to lay it in the sand right now, in the concrete if I must, and they say, no, nay. I'm out of here.
I do what I want. I don't care about what makes you comfortable. No, then you can get the fuck right on out of my life.
And at the same time, you can't sacrifice your comfort. You also have to communicate your discomforts.
Right.
Because if you don't communicate when you're uncomfortable about something, they're not going to know they're making you uncomfortable. It's not their job to read your mind, and it's not your job to read their mind.
That's the thing with people pleasers. If you're trying to appease the moment for the sake of not having an argument, you are still putting yourself and your relationship at risk and at danger because you're not letting your true emotions be expressed.
Clear communication. Effective communication.
Right.
Any type of relationship needs that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone that just wants all of your attention all the time, mentally, financially, physically, because it's hard. It's hard enough to live in this world on your own. Like, you get burned out very easily. There's no way that you could just...
The gears of capitalism are crushing all of us.
Yeah.
You were talking about someone that wants to be entirely dependent on someone else.
Yeah.
There are healthy ways to go about that sort of relationship. Hopping into it and expecting someone to just take care of you. Mm-hmm. If you can't take care of yourself and you can't be upfront and you try to just weasel your way out of taking care of yourself by having someone else do it without actually talking to them first, that is a problem. Yeah. However, if you can sit down and discuss it and nail out what you both want in a relationship, and if it's for you to be taken care of, that is your own prerogative.
The important bit is that you and your partner sat down and talked about it.
And communicated it.
Again, communicated.
Communicated this.
Yep. I'll go ahead and say, were you going to say something?
I want to put the SpongeBob rainbow meme.
Imagination.
But communication. That.
It sounds so generic, but it's true, because I've seen, like, I know this sounds super this generation, but I've seen TikTok, and one of my favorite ones was where this psychologist came in, and she was like a marriage counselor also. She said at the end of the day, when you get home from work or whatever you do, you and your partner go ahead and tell each other how much percentage you have for the rest of the day. Say, like, I got 50, and the other person says I got 50. Well, some days I got 30, and maybe you can pick up and you have 70. Some days you both come home with 10. In that case, you both need to separate yourselves, give yourselves time and space, and communicate that you only have 10% each in a 100% expectation. Just separate yourselves and get through the rest of the day.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. I will say my red flag, I think, is emotional monitoring because of how I grew up. I'm always like, are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Are you ignoring me? Are you tired? That's my red flag.
Oh, shit.
If they cannot admit when they are wrong.
Yes, if they cannot be in an argument and lose.
Oh my gosh. I hate when people say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
And no, that is not a fucking apology.
And
oh
then,
my god.
And then they'll be out here just like, well, we'll agree to disagree, but I'm right.
Bitch!
This is an opinionated thing.
That jams my block. When people say, I'm sorry, you feel... No, motherfucker.
No, I am valid for having an emotional reaction to something you said to hurt me.
Yeah. No. If you're going to apologize for what you did.
If you're going to apologize, you take accountability for what you are apologizing for.
I hate that apology. I would rather you spit in my face.
I also can't stand when people apologize and don't know what they're apologizing for.
for.
Right.
Like, if you genuinely hurt someone and have no idea, like, your brain just hasn't computed what you did wrong, you're like, I'm sorry I hurt you, could you explain it?
Right.
So I could learn from this mistake.
Right.
But if you're just in an argument and you want it over with and you're just like, fuck, sorry, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not a fucking apology.
Worse. Yeah. And I hate when people think that, okay, for one, there's one side where, okay, we've gotten over it, we're past this, we've squashed it. But I hate when people think that you're just supposed to be over it as soon as they apologize.
Yeah, no, you can apologize and still need time to process.
Oh,
right.
Shit takes time. It's not instantaneous.
Yeah, I hate when they're like, I'm sorry, and then you think that I'm just supposed to be like, oh, that's cool, we're best friends now.
That's what my romantic partner has this thing about not liking going to bed mad at someone. But on the other hand, I need time. If I am mad at you when I went to sleep, likely when I wake up, I will have forgotten to not be mad anymore. However, I need that long period away from you.
Just like when you're boiling something in a pot, it is like the boiling temperature. It needs time to cool off. You can't just expect to turn the stove off and it be ready to put in the fridge.
Like,
Something just because it stops boiling doesn't mean it won't still burn your hand if you put your hand in it.
And it's situational. Sometimes their presence can make you feel better, and sometimes it makes it worse. Yeah, we're starting to get passionate and heated now. Oh my god, you brought up the fucking, I'm sorry you feel that way.
I hate that.
There's a difference in, I never intended to make you feel that way, and I'm sorry you feel that way.
I also hate, the body language says a lot in apologies. I hate when people roll their eyes when they apologize to me. Because if you ever want to see again, don't you do that.
See, I'm less like that. Like, if they just kind of, like, look away and then look back as if they're, like, thinking, and it's still a roll of the eyes, they just don't register they're doing it, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do it and then come off aggressive.
Right. Well, I read body language.
It's very much about, like, tone. Because I remember as a kid getting in trouble for rolling my eyes because I cannot hold eye contact with people. So I was moving my eyes away, and they were like, don't you roll your eyes at me? I'm like, I wasn't. But I don't eye contact. No.
Autism.
Autism. Yes.
When I hold long periods of eye contact, it feels romantic. That's why.
It feels too intimate for you. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you first get into a relationship, your first few interactions of deciding that you are together, you are a unit, is to communicate your boundaries, what is and is not okay for you to do with other people in your relationship. Because, like,
agreed.
Some people have different definitions of cheating.
Right.
Which I think is something that people should talk about. Like, where is your needle lie?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what do you consider to be cheating? Because some people are like, if you're hanging out with somebody and you're telling me you're not hanging out with them, like a level of emotional cheating. Like, you're relying on them before you rely on me. It stems from the mindset of, like, if you feel like you have to hide something from your partner, they feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, don't hide things from your partner. However, the idea that, like, you getting to know someone and you've only known them for like a month and they're having this really, really hard time, so they go to their best friend of 20 years and you're like, you didn't tell me you were going to go to them instead of me, so now you're cheating on me? That sounds fucking stupid.
It does sound stupid. I agree. If someone's going to go to their best friend of 20 years during their time of, like, grief or mourning or whatever,
then you should sit back and shut up.
Like, sit back and shut up. They've been there for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they're still there.
Yeah.
Right. There's not many people that I would talk about my actual relationship problems with, but you two are normally the people that I sit down and I'll say, okay, like, let me be feisty first, let me go off, and then offer some actual solutions. Because I need that before I go into this argument.
You need to get to be a bit feisty because, like, it makes you feel like you have control.
Yeah, it makes you feel validated in a way.
And validated.
And for the absolute love of every god or goddess on this planet,
for whatever deity exists,
telling your friends what is happening to you in your relationship is not a problem. No matter what the other person says. If you are telling your friend that you are mistreated and your partner says that is you shit-talking them, they are a problem. They don't know what real shit-talking is.
But, like, if you're just discussing your relationship with a friend, just talking about it, and that is just, well, I wasn't there, I didn't hear what you said, you must have been shit-talking.
That says more about them
than you. It says more about them than it does you.
I think a lot of people, friendships, relationships...
We should do a friendship advice in a second.
I think so. But I think it's often necessary that you actually listen to people, because a lot of times people don't want the truth. They just want you to coddle them. Yeah. And that's something that, as I've grown older, I can't stand.
Mm.
I want friends that are going to call me out on my bullshit.
If you're being whack, I'm going to tell you you're being whack.
if you are being whack, I'm going to why is whack the word that came to mind?
Because it's 1993, player.
Because it's short for whack job.
You can't get into a new relationship bearing the open wounds of an old one. You can go in there with scars, like battle hardened. Now you know who you are and what you want and what you're going to take from this relationship. However, if you have not had the time to process all of the things that happened in said former relationship, you should not be getting into a new one.
Absolutely.
There are times, though, like, based on the research I've done, where, like, people have processed everything they've gone through and, like, they're healthier, they're doing great for themselves, but then, like, years later, like, they've gone through that process, but then they get into a relationship again, and then it pops back up.
And it
makes them, and like it probably will. It's just a matter of being able to handle it when it does.
Yes.
But you need that time to process.
I agree.
You need to get right with yourself and figure yourself out before you can really hop into a relationship and expect someone else to know how to treat you.
Yep.
You have to have your boundaries clear in mind.
Yeah, if you're still bleeding, why would you even want to be in another relationship?
Also, another point. You should not get into a relationship just because you don't want to be alone.
I agree.
Or if you do, if you find it physically debilitating to be on your own, try to have some friendships there in place first. Try the platonic route. B, make that known when you get into the relationship. Mm-hmm. If you are talking to someone and they seem interested and you say, hey, I'm looking for some long-term heavy commitment because I can't be by myself. I don't want to be taken advantage of, but I need someone else's presence so that I don't feel crazy. Then the other person can consent to give that to you.
Right.
And revoke it at any time. You can't get mad if someone has to take back their independence.
Yeah. Man. You can't very well say the ball's in your court if you don't give